Viggo. I am playing Disco Elysium. Been playing for about a week now. I enjoyed a lot. But so far we're nearing the end of day 3, I believe. And we've gotten a lot done. I need to tell this lady.
What is it?
Need to tell this lady I can't do it. I have the physique of a twig.
Yes? This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know. I don't know about the ice cream maker. Just figure something out.
There's a solution, but she doesn't want to hand it over to you yet. It's a thing. Something she holds dear.
It's a backup of my former employer's project. The backup itself is destroyed now.
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Thanks.
All right. We're leaving. Okay. We gotta look for bullets.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a scent.
From here to the whirling, I can't see how. The church is in the way.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible.
1.2 kilometers is quite a distance, even for a sniper.
It's late. There is no light on the 3rd floor of the whirling in rags. No shape moves behind it. Glazia must be out on the town.
It's not possible to climb that ladder, and even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from. To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire this time of year. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2-kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out biddable prime, was it?
So we'll go the back way. Was that evidence that I probably washed that jacket? Probably was.
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer.
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachel's sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. In conclusion, she could be under any building. I hope not.
There's no echo and no answer.
No echo means no entrance to. Get back up here.
Good evening. No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Is there anything out here? Oh.
There's no way the perk is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable, but I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold without points. And dangerous. Dangerous too.
Go into the town. Maybe ask Miss Lady with the kids. Yeah.
Mister, what were you doing in my fireplace? Oh, okay. Luby. Luby. My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or sometimes I can, but then Uller.
Kids.
Bye!
Right.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
A few
What more do
questions.
you want to know about that poor girl? Yes, let's see if there's other questions.
Okay.
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Oh? Who? Okay. When did this person stay here?
Very recently, over the last few
Oh.
days.
I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning.
Wow.
Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else. Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Oh, I can't.
Tequila Sunset. Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
It's a touchy topic. He hasn't got laid in ages. He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
All right.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up. Don't call Abigail. Abigail? No. Abigail, where are you?
All right.
Don't call Abigail.
Well.
trap is full of poor things.
Wonder.
This orange machine is dead still. You slip your fingers under.
Didn't Sona give you a perfect tool for this kind of job?
Equip the multi-tool by going to...
This orange machine is dead still. Tiles on the cube are still smooth. The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a dye? The barbell waits patiently on the floor.
Oh.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others.
This one looks
That's a rare
nice.
sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It means there are firearms, breech loaders, still lying around in Martinez. This would have been good in our case against Ruby for Titus. Too late for that now, but still, might be useful down the road.
He likes this find.
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
My God.
Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black one lies neglected on the floor. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside. A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact. It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe. Pretty much, but hey, at least you found your shoe.
I found my shoe.
Not that it will keep you warm at night.
What else? What else? What else?
Yes?
Let's try this again.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in.
I don't know, Lieutenant. It is not the first closed door we found in this. I don't know. The vigilantes?
I was just thinking, what a nice evening it is for taking part in a murder investigation.
Why do I feel like you've won?
I really
here?
don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir. All the time.
She smiles. A bitter little smile. She means it.
How well
Sure.
could it have turned out for me? I mean...
The wet wind, heavy with brine and industrial pollution from the stacks nearby, ruffles her hair.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for... I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility.
Something seems off with this.
I don't know what to say. None of this is fortuitous for me.
For
my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. For working for bad people. The list goes on and on.
The dried flowers on the roof. Could Ruby have left them? These don't fit with
The what?
anything.
Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash. I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
This all turned out well enough.
Why do I still feel suspicion hanging over me then? What I managed was to get him killed. I understand that.
The lieutenant looks away, over the railing. He feels uncomfortable with this conversation. He doesn't know what to add.
That's it then.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous.
All right. Hmm. Hmm.
Behind the dock workers, a seat. You see two maybe 3 bushes, grown into a single thicket over a period of circa 50 years. It takes time for a hedge like that to form.
All right.
Nothing. Just black tangles like the hair of an old woman. Motionless. The wind in the yard doesn't reach the hawthorn, nor does the light come in from this window.
Yes? What is it? That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
That was. Yeah, that was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches. Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again. I mean, seriously, you need to...
Jean, it's not right. Don't make it worse, and I really liked it.
She actually did.
Okay, something's really bugging me. Are we or are we not from the same police
God
station?
damn it, you leave her alone. Keep your weird bullshit to yourself and be professional for once, for fuck's sake.
Can I actually help you with something?
Yes, of course. Preposterous. I mean, you would remember if they were, right? Who forgets their squad mates? That...
Again? I can't believe this shit.
He's so dramatic.
What do you see?
We've been through everything.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah, why? It's a wall.
Why
do I
must we
keep
stop to look at
failing?
this wall every time we pass by?
This door has been closed with a padlock. This door has been closed.
Oh my god, if it'll let me.
What happened here? It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here. Indeed.
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Need to send Kim to bed. Go to bed, Kim.
This fan has or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend.
All right.
see ahead. It could be connected.
Spin.
This coin-operated viewer is facing. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Can you tell? From this distance? I don't think it's possible.
It's not. The details are blurry. There's water vapor in the way and waves cut into the islet.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full. The metal feels cold and wet. The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Where? There? Those are old. Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law. We should focus on present crimes from the present century.
I think I'll do that. I was thinking about another point in perception, but it's all right.
The worn and beaten wooden
We can sit on benches after.
You can revisit the bench if you ever.
You should return to the boardwalk once the body has been taken away. There's something you need to see. A little something that your visual cortex has put together while you were busy solving the case. Let's call it an apparition from the past. Oh no, it's one of those show, don't tell things, isn't it? You can just stop by whenever you're close. It should be quick enough.
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
A lorry stuck in the windows are clear. They've been recently washed.
You're a kitten.
The tear machine stab. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
No. Kitten. I need to get into that.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't...
I think there's something I'm missing going in here. Wait, let me see if I do actually have that.
Yes, what is it?
Nope. She's so mean. Where is the pier? Okay, where the hell?
A cold sea breeze stings your face as you step on the boardwalk. The body is gone, but something still lingers in the air, and high above it, against the stars. A luminous wheel of pleasure, and all things bright. Its wooden frame creaking in the wind. 12 red cabins form a circle that stretches from the engine below to the flocks of seagulls up in the sky. The mirage looks both sad and glorious in the mist, like an insect trapped in glass.
What are you looking at?
The little wooden gondolas dangle in the wind, their seats empty and floors littered with old ice cream papers and discarded tickets. The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk. There's a ticket office made out of an old gondola, its wooden frame the same shade of red as the ones above. A sign mounted on its side declares, 20 centimes for the ride of a lifetime. The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk, its 12 red cabins suspended in the air.
The what now?
The pleasure wheel, it used to take up the whole pier.
What is going on with you, detective?
Some sadness comes crashing over you, like a bad dream.
I think he enjoyed his last moments out here.
Yes, I don't know. We didn't learn much about him, did we? But all of us are trying to make it feel alright, even if just for a moment. I don't think he came here to die. It's getting cold just standing here. I wouldn't mind if we moved around again. Maybe even had a little run.
The pleasure wheel stands still on the boardwalk, its 12 red cabins suspended in the air. Some waves come crashing against the boardwalk, shattering the mirage.
All right. Actually, guess we can't. I'll ask her later. Why are you still here, Kim? Kim, why are you still here, Kim? Go to bed, Kim.
Yes? Excuse me? You have a
moment passes.
That ride is fucking lightning.
Hey, piss. Look who it is. Shrunken cophead material.
Yes? What do you want to know? You mean like a brief? Do you want me to brief you again? There's no reason to wing anything. If you didn't get the brief, 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing... Okay then. Was there anything else? Good.
Okay, what do I need to do? I've been looking at the boardwalk. Maybe I have to look at it in the day. After 2200, okay. And we already did this as spot. Okay.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those.
Glacier in room 3, she nicked the phone line.
Why? No, fuck it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know why these degenerates do what they do. I thought we had one good guest in the building.
Lena. Lena's a good customer.
Yeah, well, she's not a guest, is she? Anyway, I'll forward that woman her bill and be done with it. Now, was there anything else? Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. Yes. What else? Yes.
All right.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers. I told you everything.
'Tis true, sire. This man simply did not know what he was getting caught up in.
All right.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board.
Read
It
a
takes
case
about
file.
half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
The unsolvable
AKA
case.
Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
Can we just
You
keep
would
him off
think
the
that,
streets?
but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening, fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street, because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing? Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. The officer is also drunk. Way more drunk than Burke there. And let's be fair, you also have party eyes. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face, then proceed to beat him unconscious with it.
Jeez.
In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore.
Jeez.
Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one? Not much has changed in the meanwhile.
Okay.
The face of King Freecell smiles at you. A police badge on which you see the photo.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
The numbers are not there for good measure. The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used 8. maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns. What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it does on you now. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate.
I have to take Kim to bed. Kim, go to bed, Kim. Or if I pretend to go in line.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's barely covered in steam anymore. You see yourself, the expression, fixed to your...
Alright, I guess I'll read another book.
Large letters on the front form a title. Text underneath the title in smaller typeface reads, 3rd edition, Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel adds, a sword and sorcery adventure board game with new maps and miniatures. A blurb on the back reads, tired of the tedium and toil of modern life? Escape to Wirral. Leave behind e-solas and nations with their petty squabbles. Discard electricity, magnets, and boring technological widgets. Succumb to a world of high pasternal fantastique. Unleash your imagination and create an adventure of endless possibilities. Discover the terrible secret threatening Wirral. Can your band of adventurers save the world?
I'm not sure if I can handle all this.
This is about having structured fun. All you have to do is read an intricate rulebook, study an assortment of maps, unfold the illustrated game board, and start rolling dice. In no time, you could be romping through grasslands with low-level characters, hunted by Iskala riders, or battling unspeakable monsters in endless dungeons fraught with danger and despair, conjuring up forceful magics to aid your quest. Don't forget heated arguments escalating to physical confrontation with your friends. And most importantly, never forget to rage quit if the dice don't go your way.
Alright, let's see if Kim's ready for bed.
Yes?
It's 21, my guy. 2100. Is it really until 2200?
The worn map features your finger moves through the various streets, finally coming to a halt on the...
For a more detailed view of the map,
The face of King Fleecell smiles at you. For some, unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Charging rent to live somewhere
The
is
writer G.
outrageous.
Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution so long as it's only redistributed upward. Good thing your rent-paying days are behind you. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined. Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Suliswaf.
Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on the filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
What else?
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the... It still kind of looks like a map for you to discover. Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Someone who knows about history.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reels attach to the apparatus.
All right. We'll do another book. Another story.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of paper. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead. Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the square gun. Not much has changed in the mean. The acidic stench of rotting food has rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. You carefully fold the wrapper into a square.
Yes?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
Until you come up with something at that intersection, I'm afraid I have little else to tell you. But I'll try.
I have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present at the lynching.
The two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done. I'm glad to hear, Officer. I'm sure you'll find out just what that means soon enough. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the fourth month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded by other sources?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
She simply nods.
what we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. She nods.
Word has travelled, yes, but nothing of real substance has surfaced yet, I gather. Wild Pines has eyes on the intersection, but not ears.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout. It would give them a read on the entire quarter.
It appears we are being monitored every step we take, colleague. Did we have any other business here?
Nope.
If you don't mind, please put the flashlight away. Some of us have...
Photonic sensitivity is not generally acknowledged by the medical...
I do appreciate it. Hello again. How can I help you? I doubt it, but I can try and answer any question. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. Bad for everyone.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the...
Sure. Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Not entirely sure I need to...
All right, let's see it. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't need bloodthirsty mercenaries knocking on my door looking for their missing toys. Besides, this gear costs a fortune. There's no one in Martinez with that kind of money.
I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale. Aphotic paths, counter-radiance network, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter.
You have absolutely no idea what aphotic paths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that.
Another time, perhaps.
All right. I just want to talk to this guy.
Hi again, gendarme. Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer? Maybe you should figure it out, detective. Oh yes, let's see. He knocked on my door a few days after the lynching. I think he was going through the entire building, asking questions. Yes, but he was speaking to someone on his earpiece.
His
yes,
earpiece?
you know those tiny speaker microphones that fancy security guards sometimes wear. Just reporting back whatever I was telling him. Nothing. That I didn't see anything. What friend?
Your Sunday friend.
No, I don't think it came up. Muscular, handsome, strong, like one of those military types. Sure. Anything else on your mind? Bye-bye, gendarme.
This medicine cabinet is stocked with drugs, plus an old tooth. It's been used quite a lot. Pharmaceuticals line the shelves, sheet upon sheet.
Anything of note?
Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Gotwaldian, marked red blister packs you find. What do you find? This is going to take a little know-how. There it is, the orange sun wearing blister pack. You feel almost nostalgic for it.
Preptide, a euphemism for pharmaceutical amphetamine. Prescription speed.
The fuck are you waiting for? Let's get super fucking preppy.
No. Oh.
The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pink. The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps. Fortunately, the street sweeper still hasn't noticed their presence.
Fuck does Kuno care? The fuck do you want with it? It's a vitamin pig? Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your...
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it again!
You're not getting this, pig. It could...
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna...
Good call, Pigmeister. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Alright. Finally, can get Kim to bed. Go back, Kim. So I need rhetoric, maybe composure. So +3. Give cap.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but no reply. This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. The worn and beaten wooden...
You can revisit the...
I don't know when he's gonna go to bed. It should be at any moment. Just talk to
Always a
someone to
pleasure
pass
to
the
see
time.
I mean, officers. I'm sorry.
Short means sincere in these things.
No.
After all this time with Morel, he...
Oh, yes. A rhinoceros that looks ordinary. The flames are not just for... During the burning local peasants...
The lieutenant sighs, without looking up. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels. Some...
I told you everything.
'Tis true, sire. This man...
Come on, Kim. Let's see if you go to bed now. Go to bed, Kim.
Yes? Excuse me? Frankly, Detective, you are in a deranged state. I can't let you proceed without close supervision. In fact, under normal circumstances, I'd be duty-bound to report you. Take it as a token of good faith between our...
The lieutenant thinks you're some unaccountable wreck who needs constant supervision.
What if I need some me time?
This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
Alright. I guess you're gonna follow me. Ay. Okay. Let's read a book then.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. With the permit, it takes about half an hour to piece one together. Using the system, some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it.
Like a rock band.
Yes, as you've said here, insufferable rock and roll assholes. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it was. They were leaving it out in all these cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved. No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have not much has changed.
Do I need to go to my shack? Let's try one last time upstairs.
It's getting cold, this late in the night.
Good night, officer. We'll meet.
That's all I had to do was just go to my shack. I forgot about that. Okay.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk no reply. What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's...
Okay. Stebbins at the Cape side. Okay, let's... go upstairs. Come on.
This door is made of metal. No one answers. No one answers.
Where the hell is this place? at the Cape Side Apartments.
This door has been closed with a pad. No reply. No reply. No reply.
I mean, this is the place.
Give me a moment. What? No. Nobody tells me anything.
Would she understand if they did?
If it ain't my business, I'll keep my nose out of it. Think we'd all be better off if people kept their noses to themselves.
This door has been closed with no reply. As you approach the metal grill, you can hear several voices having what appears to be an animated discussion. This must be it. Beyond this door lies the beating heart of radical communism in Martinez. Somehow, the night air softens the smell of trash and sea brine. As the breeze pulls through the canvas like a shuttle through a loom, you catch a hint of something unexpected, something earthy, warm, and burnt. The acrid smell of failure. No, that's just slightly burnt coffee, a smell you would recognize anywhere.
Just look at this pig, sniffing about after hours.
The metal grill is cool to the touch. You can make out at least two separate voices. The voices are male, you think. Beyond that, you can't tell. The clang of metal reverberates all along the scaffolding. The voices coming from the other side fall silent.
Who's there? Is that you, Maurice?
This is so dumb. I don't know what to do. It is I, Maurice.
I'm calling back already. Get out of here, traitor.
I'm actually not Maurice. I'm trying to get organized.
For a moment, silence.
What's the passphrase?
Remember Dobreva and Abadanius.
There's no response. You begin to wonder whether they've slipped out some back way. No, they're still there. You can feel them back there.
Alright. The key's taped to the back of the door frame. Just make sure you put it back when you're done, or we'll all be locked out. And do watch the concrete. It just kind of falls away, in places.
Have fun at your underground meeting, Pig. Hope it's a blast.
The two young men are either oblivious to or ignoring your entrance. Their attentions are fixed on whatever it is they're stacking in the middle of the floor. Matchboxes, it appears.
I think it's holding, Alexis.
It is. It's holding.
It's definitely not holding. Those matchboxes are stacked so haphazardly, it's like they want them to collapse.
Careful, careful. Damn, hardly any difference. You're late.
He should know the meeting starts at 10 p.m. sharp.
Don't let them see you flustered, sire. Play along.
They weren't exactly easy to find.
That's the whole point, of course. We can't just have anybody waltzing in here. Martinez is crawling with reactionary infiltrators. To say nothing of Gotwaldians and iconoclasts.
The young man's companion reflexively snorts at the mention of Gotwaldians and iconoclasts.
We all have to take precautions, especially during these delicate times. What matters is that you've made it, and that you've done the reading.
Uh-oh. No one said anything about reading. You'll just have to wing this one.
You have? Excellent. Let's hear your critique then. They always say that when they haven't done their reading. Well, this is getting awkward. I'm not sure what you're expecting to find here then.
There's profound consternation in his voice. You suspect it's about something bigger than your not having done the reading.
Maybe he can explain himself.
The young man frowns at the little pile of boxes on the floor.
Nothing, just messing around until the meeting started. In the most generous sense, I would say we're cultivating revolutionary consciousness.
Yes, that's probably the best way to describe it.
But more specifically, we are running a reading group. The most rigorous and theoretically advanced materialist reading group in Martinez.
Comrade Steban is a great discussion leader, one of the best at the university.
It's obvious they take this group of theirs extremely seriously. Whatever you do, don't compare it to a common book club.
Sounds like a place for intense intellectual engagement. This is my kind of
That's the
jam.
whole thing. The world is so shallow, all noise and repetition. We're interested in genuinely radical critique.
Precisely. We are not interested in senseless parroting. We like to read critically.
Within the contours of Mazovian historical materialism, of course.
So what
We
do you guys
study all the
actually...
foundational texts of Mazovian theory, of course. Just last week we finished the second volume of Puncher and Watman's Innocence of Capital.
Truly extraordinary.
And before that we spent 6 weeks on State and Plasm.
Uh-oh. You can feel your attention span rapidly deteriorating.
No.
We've also read Vert Muller's The Megastructure of History, and before that, Real and Reality.
Communist theorists love puns, in case that wasn't obvious.
Hablars une paix infernale.
The original Fizdale translation, not that watered-down revisionist garbage.
These two deserve the Order of Honor for bullshitting. There's no way they've actually read all this stuff.
Obviously.
But, of course, our special emphasis is on the theories of Ignace Nilsson and his followers, especially the inframaterialists. You're not familiar with him? It's pretty advanced stuff. You may not be ready for it yet, gendarme. Only Krasmazov's most trusted lieutenant, the evangelist of the revolution, and the founding father of the People's Republic of Samara.
It's hard to overstate how unimpressed he is that you've never heard of this world historical individual.
He also happens to be the greatest communist theorist after Mazov himself. It was Nilsson who first postulated the existence of ideological plasm, which forms the basis of inframaterialist theory.
The young man sighs. His companion looks about furtively.
We typically only accept new members once per semester. There's this whole process with essays and presentations on assigned topics. But given that we have some extra seating at the moment, I guess we could be convinced to expedite an application or two.
Stefan, you can't be serious. For gendarme?
I am serious. As materialists, we've got to adapt to conditions as they are. Besides, he'll still need to pass the interview portion of the entrance process. Assuming he's even still interested, that is. What do you mean? This is the reading group. We're in something of a rebuilding phase.
Some of our former comrades didn't have the ideological fortitude our work demands.
Typical.
Intellectual attrition is maybe the best way to describe it. Felix said he couldn't keep up with the reading on top of his classwork. And Susanna wanted to read text other than Mazovian theory. Like novels, if you can believe it.
Imagine the audacity of wanting to read a novel in a reading group.
We've tried recruiting new members, but unfortunately the current intellectual climate is pretty hostile to inframaterialist thought. These days, if you're on the left, the ascendant schools are the Godwaldians and their iconoclasts.
Don't forget about Maurice and the turnips.
Right. Then there was the whole turnip debacle.
Whatever this turnip business is about, one thing is perfectly clear. These young students have a much deeper understanding of communism than you do. You could learn a thing or two from them. If you can convince them you're one of them.
It's an unfortunate story. You see, our ex-comrade Maurice is something of an economist.
He's studying macro and microeconomics.
Right. So a few weeks ago we were discussing the extra physical capabilities of the revolutionary state. And Maurice said, what were his exact words, Ulex's?
It was unbelievable. He said, turnips don't care if they are grown by communists, moralists, or Welkin. They grow just the same.
Just a minute. Steban, Ulixis. Why do those names ring the faintest of bells? Probably because they're the real names of Nazteb and Exilus, the authors of that so-called essay about Tip-Top Tournay you read in La Fumée. You should get to the bottom of this when you have the chance.
Basically, he was rejecting the whole foundation of inframaterialist theory.
What is this inframaterialist business they keep blathering about? You've never heard of anything like it.
Remind me what this says about turbans
Simply that
again.
under suitably revolutionary conditions, crop yields naturally increase relative to non-revolutionary crops, which Morris somehow has the gall to deny.
Susanna said that he has been hanging out with some non-communists lately.
For us, the question boiled down to, if you don't even accept the basic ideas of Nielsen and inframaterialist theory, why are you in the reading group?
So you expelled Maurice from the reading group over an argument about
Well,
turnips?
it wasn't so much that he was expelled.
He just quit coming. We haven't seen him around for weeks.
So what about Cindy? Is she not part of the group?
How to describe her role?
Something of an ideological auxiliary, perhaps.
Yes, that's exactly how I would put it.
Anarchist.
And naturally, we support her radical counter-liberal aesthetics.
But she refuses to submit an essay, so we can't call her a member of the group per se.
That doesn't stop her from using a room for studio space, of course. For starters, they love talking about beans. That's right. Iconoclasts are obsessed with beans. They love thinking about beans. They love counting beans. But most of all, they love building models to predict how many beans there'll be in the future.
Nota bene, iconoclast is an extra pejorative form of the already pejorative name, Mazovian economists, a moderate school of Mazovianism which advocates the gradual transition to communism through carefully managed economic modernization rather than violent social revolution.
They're by far the most bean-centric school of communism.
Ah yes, the much maligned bean counters, ensconced in their think tanks and high-rises, believing they can save the world through a series of incremental, assiduously technocratic reforms.
What's wrong with making progress through moderate economic reforms? But isn't it good to know how many beans there are? Are the beans a metaphor?
If only. They've got all the beans accounted for in their asset sheets, their quarterly budgets, their future projections. But for some reason, there are never enough beans to go around. So we've just got to cut our bean rations in half.
And next thing you know, there are budget cuts, so now we've got to cut the bean rations in half again. You see, iconoclasts claim to be communists, but in reality they're just liberals with hard-ons for spreadsheets.
Makes sense.
They're the most depressing school of communism. They love writing long books with a patina of Mazovian theory to cover up their cheap psychologizing.
A gang of cheap psychologists and intellectual midgets. Typical Gottwalders, in other words.
It's okay for Uli to say that, because his dad is from Gottwald.
So
The
depressing
Gottwald
about
school
their
believe that
theories.
intellectuals as a class are incapable of sparking revolutionary change. So all they can do is critique capitalism from inside itself.
In other words, they have lost faith in their own relevance.
Oh.
That's why they spend all their time smoking cigarettes and writing long works of criticism that make you want to commit suicide.
Sounds
It is
miserable.
miserable. That's probably why they're always committing suicide. You see, the Gottwald school look like communists. They talk like communists. But scratch the patina and you'll see beneath that they're just depressed liberals who've read too many books.
And what about the liberals? They're liberals too, right?
Of course not. The only people who actually call themselves liberals are malforming reactionaries.
I totally
Basically
agree with that.
indistinguishable from fascists. You'd need an X-ray machine to tell the difference.
Go ahead.
You wrote the article.
Read our article.
That I did not expect.
Well, don't keep us on tenterhooks. What did you think of the essay?
The delicate egos on these boys. Even though you're just some cop, they're desperate for your approval.
It was a good article.
Well, of course that's just an initial foray into the subject. We're hoping to return to it for a more substantial treatment next term. In any case, I'm glad our piece found its audience. That's always the hope with these things, you know.
So I need more composure.
Sure. We're here most every night. Maybe we...
Sleep well, Jun.
All right.
The gendarme returns. What do you need?
Should I try skin?
What's there to be scared of? You've really been cracking the books these last few days. You can go toe-to intellectual toe with any reading group in Martinez. You've spent a not inconsiderable amount of time arranging the works in your mental library by theme and period. All the ideas and references you'll need are ready at hand. Now, chin up. You've got this.
Oh, you want to start now? Sure, we can manage that.
You've caught him off balance. The momentum is already in your favor.
Go ahead and take a seat. Since we haven't had time to prepare an exhaustive questionnaire, I think we can keep this interview more freeform. Why don't you tell us a bit about the books you're interested in, and we'll just see where the conversation goes.
I'm into more practical books, books that help me understand the real
Ah,
world.
a real old-school pedestrian materialist. All right, we'll play along. So what sort of practical works are we talking about?
I can't say how reliable it is, but I did read a book on pale-centric medicine.
Interesting. I always thought that stuff was common folk superstitions, repackaged as bourgeois spiritualism. Maybe I've been overly dismissive.
This is a good start. They're starting to loosen up. You feel relaxed and in control. Soon, you're debating whether a decommodified spirituality is even possible under capitalism. Probably not, is the answer.
Right.
Which isn't to say it isn't sometimes still useful.
But then I still don't really get what this whole pale thing is about, so...
There are so many theories out there, most of them ridiculous. But we'd be here all night if we tried to get into them.
It's better not to know. That's what the wind is telling you. These kids are eating out of your hand, practically. Another quarter of an hour disappears. The questions come rapid fire, but you have an answer for every one. Now you can sense things starting to slow down. The interview must be reaching an inflection point.
Don't you think, though, that you can only really understand current events if you have a firm background in history and political theory?
Listen, books are fine and all, but to be straight with you, they're no substitute for a real story. Is that the only one I have?
Okay, we'll bite. What sort of stories are we talking about?
A real-life procedural, complete with gory details.
Let's just say... Yeah, let's just say the human body starts to do some weird things when it's been...
You got our attention. Let's see where this goes.
Now you're getting somewhere. These boys aren't even bothering to contain their interest. They want to see how you weave the threads of this story together.
Okay, but when you say he spoke to you, you mean metaphorically, right?
What would I gain by saying literally?
So have you figured out his real identity?
Another quarter of an hour disappears. The conversation bounces back and forth. Whatever their pretensions, it's clear these two have been craving something real. Now you can sense things starting to slow down. Time to wrap this tale up.
But I'm still not sure how love did him in.
There has to be some other element to it. We don't have the full story yet.
Perhaps, but that thread of the story is still unresolved.
I suppose we'll have to leave it there. But listen, gendarme. We could use someone with your breadth of expertise. With just a little more theoretical background, I think you'll be able to make some real contributions.
Yes, I would say he's got serious potential at least.
And with that, welcome to the most ideologically advanced materialist reading group in Martinez.
Alright.
Here's your first assignment. It's an overview of inframaterialist theory. A little basic, as you'll see, but one has to start somewhere. Come back when you're done. We'll be here pretty much every night after 10 p.m. Do be sure to take your time with the reading. We'll be eager to hear your thoughts.
Alright.
Date of birth generator. You were born in the year 07, in the last year of the commune of Revachol, right before it fell, in the old military hospital on the ground floor, where people usually came to die during a snowstorm. The revolution had about 1 year left to go, and the fires were still burning bright. There were explosions in the blizzard. This was 44 years ago. You are 44 years old. The bloating might never leave your face, but beneath it, you still have some years. You still have some hope.
Learning cap for logic raised to 4.
The cover of this pocket-sized volume features a swirl of orange, yellow, and green. The title, A Brief Look at Inframaterialism, is set in an authoritative yet approachable serif font. What an interesting color palette. It's vibrant, yet somehow leaves you ever so slightly nauseated. No. These are terrible colors. They're like apricots.
Ew.
On the inside jacket flap, you find a brief summary. What is inframaterialism? A highly theoretical branch of Mazovian communism? A collection of mystical ramblings by a discredited revolutionary? Or possibly both? This brief look, TM, introduces readers to one of this century's most fascinating and misunderstood theories in a concise, jargon-free manner. You turn to the table of contents. The guide itself is divided into several sections with seemingly esoteric titles like Effects of Plasm on Root Vegetables and Mental Projection and Transference. There's also a brief introduction about the life of Ignis Nielsen.
I will read that tomorrow. Coffee. No war but class war. All right. One last talk to my boyo.
You're back. Yeah, it's hers. She just sort of moved it all in a few months ago.
She said if she's going to make truly radical art, she needs a suitably radical workspace.
Sure.
And I don't think she could afford rent at an actual studio. The deal, at a fundamental level, I guess you could call it the shattered bones of a dream crushed by capital.
A feeble and hopelessly mixed metaphor.
That's really good, Steban. You should save that for an essay.
Thanks, Uli. When the idea is sound, the words just sort of flow.
Yes, now keep developing the idea.
Heard these used to be luxury apartments, million real views, that sort of
That
thing.
could be. It would explain some of the more ornate detailing. But we're speaking in world historical terms here. What his place represents, not what it merely was.
Right.
His friend yawns, evidently bored by literal reality.
You like her art?
Oh, sure. He's definitely interesting, I would say.
I would let go.
I guess you could call her latest stuff a sort of counter-bourgeoisie calligraphy. She's got a real taste for radical slogans.
It's too bad she hasn't developed the theoretical foundation to do truly radical work.
I think she'll get there, though. She's still looking for a subject equal to her ambitions. Go ahead.
I will ask that at another time. Oh, excuse me.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? This shit is pumped out of government vehicles.
She did it herself. Pumped it out. She's proud of it too.
That's some pretty clever cultural commentary.
You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo.
Catch you later.
Why does art inspire you so much?
It does, but what is
Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined.
Would I fit into the art
Have you
world?
looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist, with that wild hair and those clothes. Perhaps you should try to write poetry someday and critique architecture. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery, the trite and derivative artists and writers of the world.
I gatekeeped and girl bossed this.
Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble.
Okay. The worst one. I made a mistake choosing that. Oh yeah. Take my sleepy time.
It's getting cold this late in the night. The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still,
Going to sleep.
the bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear. In the quiet hum of the organic heater, you fall asleep.
Like a deftly cast fishing net, sleep pulls you out of the world and into its dark shore. The rough mesh chafes, tightening around you, it digs into your brain.
Dark shore my ass. I know what this is.
How have things been going for you out there? Helped anyone lately? Saved anyone lately? Murdered anyone lately?
This bastard isn't even listening to you.
Because you know you are a murderer. A disco music listening psycho killer who offs poor people. And then forgets about it.
Okay, so I'm a murderer and that's bad.
Hear that? He doesn't even flinch. Iceman doesn't care about killing people. That's nothing to him. Blackwater, under the bridge. The thing he's really scared of is much, much worse than that.
Don't tell him, sister. It's too bad.
They're right. This is their function. To keep you from it.
Why are you doing this? I just want to sleep. I can almost see
We're
the dog.
trying to help you. All these processes, these tortures, voices and tremors are all just distractions, flares and countermeasures to keep you from the last dream. The worst of them all.
The last dream will be total annihilation. Cinders peeling off the fuselage. We won't be there to help you anymore, Harry. We will be dormant. You will be naked and alone.
And the air will smell of apricot.
Of hell. An ancient sadness, brother. 10,000 years later, in front of the video rental, there is a warm breath on your face again. Everything is okay again.
Everything is so okay.
Doesn't sound like it will be okay.
Your eyelids flutter open for a moment. When you close them again, you sense the light of the room around you. You're back. In 2 seconds, the alarm will ring.
The last thought in your head before waking is, maybe you shouldn't have seen that stained glass window in the church.
So glad. Oh. Okay. That's gonna be it for me for tonight. We did get quite a bit done. But I'll see y'all later.